I certainly knew that I was gonna die someday, but what I didn't know is how I
Monko?
would respond because I
Sure.
like, all the things I thought I'd be worried about were not really on the list.
Hello,
Hello.
Hank Green.
Yeah.
It's hard to even describe what you are popular for because there are so many things.
I don't like to do one thing.
Yeah, a little
I
bit
like
of
to
everything.
do lots of things.
Some people might know you from Vlog Brothers.
Yeah.
Some people might know you from your many amazing crash
SciShow.
courses that help them get through high school and college.
Yeah.
Some people might know you as a co-founder of VidCon.
Uh-huh.
Some people might know you from writing 2 books.
Yeah.
Some people might know you as the Bill Nye for the modern era, which I know that you deny.
I think there's a lot of Bill Nyes for the modern era. We can share the
Sure.
load.
Okay,
The
sure.
large load.
We love large loads.
I know, me too.
The biggest thing that I know you for is
Will Neff has never seen Hank Green content? What?
the guy that I smoked weed with 6 years ago.
What? When did I smoke weed with you?
You remember that?
What?
We were in Brooklyn for
Oh,
New York.
Yeah. It was like a YouTube thing.
YouTube thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun night. We just walked around. I was a weed newbie.
Yeah, you were
And,
new to weed.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good time. Good laughs, good conversations.
Yeah.
That was before COVID. That was before cancer.
Yeah, before TikTok.
Honestly, there is nothing better than being high in a walkable city. Do I even need to elaborate?
Oh shit! It was.
Yeah.
But everything in your life has shifted since then.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of, like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the same guy, but of course you do, right? The sort of opportunities that this job affords is really important to, like, take a chance and, like, remember, like, the cool things that you've gotten to do.
Mhm.
And I remember, like,
It's also very easy to like forget. And there's a lot of amazing things, even like, I would say even more so when you do content creation, but even in general with life, we have as people a tendency to compare ourselves to people that are doing better than us because human beings hate boredom and we always want to achieve more. At the very least, there's a part in the back of your brain that wants that. And you really have to focus on everything that you've gotten and everything that you have. Because if you don't, you'll just never be happy. Like I try to keep like visual reminders of all the things that I have gotten to experience. Because without them, I feel like I would just be way too harsh on myself always. But like these fancy boxing gloves, for example. It's like I got to go to Creator Clash and I got to meet all those cool people and cheer on my friends that were boxing. Oh my God, like that was so much fun. I can't believe I got to do that. I can't believe I got to get invited to do that and go there. What? I've been meaning to ask, what's the glowing cube? This is where the band chatters go. It's actually where they go. Or like, you can't really see it that well, but this brown box is the Mina cookies, the Pokimane Mina cookies. And I have it there as a reminder. It's like, fucking Pokimane. She tweeted about wanting to send people like something special, a special box that she's working on before she announced the cookies. And I like replied, I was like, I would love some cookies. Fucking Pokimane messages me to send me cookies. Do you know how many people would kill? Like, I think about me a year ago. I would have killed for that. I would have killed because, I mean, I'm a huge Pokimane simp. Like, of course I am. But it's easy for me in the moment to always feel bad because I'm very harsh on myself and in the moment, it's easy for me to be like, I can't believe, like, I feel like I haven't achieved anything. And also, I'm like socially anxious as fuck. And it's like, oh, nobody likes me and I'm cringe and I'm never going to stop being cringe and I'm never going to be successful and blah, blah, blah. And I still haven't been able to do this or whatever. But I have to beat the shit out of the part of my voice in there, or like the part of my head that says that shit. Because that's not true. I have gotten so many experiences of so many things. Like this is this backpack that I wore to Disneyland with Jenna. She had the matching pink one. With the little leash. Like, ah, excuse me. It has a leash. Yeah, if you saw the stream, uh, it's like one of the child leashes so that you won't lose your kids. But yeah, like I keep that there. It's like a reminder of the amazing friendships that I've made. The first time I went to Disneyland, I got to go to Disneyland with friends for the first time ever. And I got to spend it with people that I love and respect. How many people have had that experience? Like, I should treasure those experiences that I've had instead of just thinking about what's the next thing. And you have to live in the moment and whatever and really remember those things. Because if you don't make an active effort to remember things, you will forget them, which is sad. So yeah, I agree, basically. I agree with what this man is talking about.
Walking out on like a rooftop deck in, I don't know if you're in Brooklyn, and like looking out over the New York City skyline and being like, this is wild that I'm here right now. And with all these cool people and like having these cool conversations and like we're sort of trying to remake media from the ground.
Maybe this just hits harder as a content creator. It's like it makes you want to. I literally started tearing up at the end of the Disneyland trip when they did like the fireworks that they do. We were watching the fireworks, and I was literally like tearing up. I was like, "How dare I ever be depressed when life is so good? How dare I?"
Up and no one understands what it's going to be.
We don't understand what we're doing.
We don't know what we're doing. Yeah, I've always felt like I was in the room with legends when I'm like hanging out with YouTubers.
It is interesting speaking with other people who have been on the platform for so long. Did you get?
It does feel like you're speaking with legends. Even if they're just fellow content creators.
Started in 2006 or 2007.
I uploaded my first video January 1st, 2007.
Everything was completely different. There still aren't any rules, but there were definitely no rules then. It was like, make it up. I don't know.
Well, yeah, like the idea that someone would spend time making a video.
Well, there was no money to be made then.
Yeah,
It was
so-
impossible to make money.
Yeah. So why would you spend extra time making it? And then like if people put a little bit of effort in it, was like, what is this?
Yeah. I just love talking with people who have been around. Like, it's weird to say trailblazing because it kind of means that I do the same thing too, but like trailblazing in so many different areas. And like you said, you're excited about doing so many things, so you can't just stick to one specific
I'm not
thing.
I'm not good at sticking to one thing. And it's not a strategy.
Right.
I don't think it's better.
Mhm.
It's just like I've just accepted that it's who I am.
Well, you're following what excites you, right?
Yeah.
You're following what you have passion for. And
Yeah.
you're in LA right now doing stand-up,
Yeah.
which seems so far.
I know
on the
you
opposite
even
side.
saying it. I'm like, wow, like shut up. Like it can't be a thing I'm doing.
I was there last night.
This is me when I sang in the Christmas concert. It's like, just saying it. It's like, what? Me? What?
night
Yeah.
watching your show. It was a sold out comedy club with
Yeah.
500 people there attending that. It was loud. Everyone was so excited. You are very, very, very funny. I know that you were like, I don't see myself as a stand-up comedian. I'm not a
Well,
stand-up
you
comedian.
have to say it on stage.
Have you felt it? Do you feel like you are a stand-up comedian now?
Look, I don't know. It's a really it's a world that I love very much.
And this is also, whenever I tell people about streaming, you just have to pick something that you genuinely do love, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to keep doing it. You're going to get burned out. I think you can want it to be your job, and you can work really hard and try and curate content and really make the best that you can that will get clicks or whatever. But you still have to care about the thing. If I didn't care about politics and I didn't care about arguing ever, I would never do this. I would have gotten bored years ago. It's you have to actually love the thing that you're doing.
And I do feel like I have appreciated it externally for a long time. Like, I have sent my show, like, just cell phone videos to a couple of stand-up comedians who I really respect. And they're like, this is stand-up. Like,
Yeah.
you're good at this. And you like, it's wild how natural you seem on that stage. The other thing separating me is that it's really hard, and I can't do it the way that it's done in the industry. It's just like so exhausting.
Yeah, you said that you enter a fugue state when you're up there on stage, and you can't think about anything. It just goes. It just happens.
It just goes. And I people are like, how'd the show go? I'm like, literally no idea. I will listen to the.
You're like, I wasn't
recording
there.
later.
I wasn't out there.
I will know what happened when I listen to it.
I feel like that was a lot of things that I'm very nervous about.
Yeah.
Would you say that you're nervous going up there? Is that
I'm extremely nervous all day
leading up
to it. And then once I'm on stage, I'm not nervous unless something starts going wrong, and then I get extremely nervous very quickly.
I've been trying to figure out how to not, because it's a similar theme with all the things that I'm nervous about. Oftentimes, like driving over here to shoot these interviews, I'm nervous. And then I get down, I sit down, it's fine. How do you skip that phase? Like, is there a shortcut to skip that?
This is how I feel going on other people's streams. Like, I'm very nervous because it's like you don't want to humiliate yourself, you know? You don't want to be embarrassing. You don't want to be cringe. The worst fucking crime, being cringe. But once you're there, you just be normal. Stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about it. Just act like you would. Just pretend like the person you're talking to is a good friend.
You find out, let me know.
Because it always ends up being fine, right? And then you're always nervous, though.
I think, like, the only way I've gotten around it is, like, when I'm on tour, by the fifth night, it's less scary.
You know what? Today it was a lot easier driving over here because I had just done a couple interviews yesterday.
Yeah.
But before that, it had been like a 3 or 4 week break.
Yeah.
And then it's like I entered infancy, and I'm like, I'm not capable anymore. I lost it, you know?
Yeah, but also that stuff it works in your favor, I think, sometimes, because then you're like focused on like, what do I need? What are the areas that I most worry about? How do I address those areas?
Well, I wonder if
that's
there's
how
a way.
I work anyway.
I wonder if there's a way to get there though without like the.
I don't know. I think if I wasn't freaked out, I wouldn't rehearse.
So it helps. It's there for.
Like,
a
I'm
reason.
driving around LA, like doing my show in the car, and then my GPS is like, "You missed the exit like 2 exits ago, man. What are you
You're like,
doing?"
I entered the fugue state at the wrong time. It's a very vulnerable show.
Yeah, and I think that absolutely, like, getting up close to borders and like seeing where they are and what they are is interesting. And there's actually a fair amount of comedy that like gets up against like, what is like sickness, like what is death, like that's, to me, especially with like young people, and I consider myself sort of like just having gotten done with being young.
You just finished this year, last
I
year?
bet right around May of last year, I
You
stopped being young. Yeah.
Does that make you old, or like are you in
It's
this
just-
like middle stage?
I don't know. We don't need to figure it out right now.
We don't need to put labels on it.
I think it's safe to say.
Yeah.
I'm not young anymore.
Okay.
And to think about and talk about illness and serious illness and like the stuff that like we don't like to think about it, but like
Especially in
sort of
the
put
West,
it in
yeah.
people's face a little bit.
It's
And
a taboo topic.
yeah, like I would have moments where I'd write a
He's
joke.
43.
I-
He's fucking 43. See, this is proof that being a fucking hater ages you, because he's the least hater, least melanated as well. and he does not look 43.
I would do the joke and people would not laugh because it's like too close to the line. But then I could sort of like take that, even if they don't laugh, and use it to like talk about their own discomfort.
That's
And
true.
that doesn't need to, like, comedy doesn't need to be funny every 15 seconds.
I
It
do
should
feel like-
there should be seconds where it is. There should be parts where it is.
At least laugh once.
Yeah,
But I do feel like that
Yeah.
is something that new comedians might run into is they might feel like you need to make someone laugh. Like every 5 seconds there's a laugh.
And you
or
will, I mean,
something,
you
or laugh.
honestly, like, I go through and I listen for any period of time where it goes more than 15 seconds without a laugh.
Oh, you like replay the
Yeah, and
the
I
actual
look at those
recording.
spots and I decide whether they're worth it or
It's like the audience retention on YouTube.
not. Yeah, like you don't want to lose an audience when they're in the room with you.
Yeah, yeah. It's
That's
one
even
thing when they
worse.
could click away.
Yeah, it's the algorithm not satisfied. I guess I'll make another YouTube video.
Yeah.
If the people in the room aren't satisfied, you're like, I guess thanks for the money.
If they're getting up and leaving, that's
Yeah.
an issue. You used this stand up almost it seems like as a means to keep a journal.
It's actually where it came from.
To document your journey
Yeah.
of going through finding out that you had cancer, getting chemo, recovering,
Yeah.
even down to the moment where you have to tell your wife, you have to tell your mom, you have to tell your child, and what their reactions were like.
Mhm.
And those are such difficult things that I feel like most people would want to forget. They would want to be like, la la la, it didn't happen, and in this case,
And
you're
almost-
documenting.
Yeah, almost if I didn't document it, my brain would decide to forget. It's like, I don't want that.
Like
And
it's-
there's a bunch of stuff that, because when you're on chemo, you're like so foggy anyway. It's like being hungover forever, but worse. And I was journaling during it, and I was so bad at remembering that a lot of the comedy came from reading those journal, and I was like, that's a good joke that I wrote in the journal to myself that I don't remember writing.
And then you're like, oh, I wrote that?
I
That was me?
Yeah.
You were saying that some things also, in the moment you knew they were funny, but other
Yeah.
times it was thinking back on
Oh,
it that
for
was
sure.
funny.
Yeah, like it was not funny at all when we were telling my son that I had cancer. There was no.
You found a way to get
No.
laughs on
I
stage,
know,
though,
yeah.
somehow. Like, that's, it's
Yeah.
obviously a horrible thing. And you found a way to mesh your struggles and
It does make me mad that I have to do some gay ass journaling because that's the only reliable way of knowing what has happened or what your opinion of something was. Because your fucking memory is dog shit. Human memory is so ass.
the trauma and even down to suicidal thoughts. Like you
Yeah.
found a way to talk about these real aspects
Mhm.
of going through something like that and
Are you serious?
make it
Dragon
funny
Army?
and accessible. I think that's the biggest thing is that it's not just about being funny, it's about being accessible. It's about finding the way to deliver this
Yeah.
kind of information in a way that doesn't feel like, ooh, this is a lot. It's like
Yeah.
it's broken up.
Yeah,
Those
for sure.
laughs.
Wait, I'm
I-
sorry. Are ads playing? I want to make sure that that's not happening. Not for me. That's a stupid question because obviously the people who are saying that are not getting ads. Let me. What was I trying to check? Where is it? Ah, okay, here we go. No, all right, we're good. We're good. We're good. Sometimes Twitch will like rewrite my shit and they'll be like, hey, we're going to play ads every 30 minutes now for some reason. And I have to go in and manually change it back, but we're good.
It's really changed, like in me, and in ways that I like. Part of, in some ways I don't like. Like I'm much more anxious now, and like I'm trying to work through that, and so it's a whole thing that, and I feel like part of that, honestly, is just feeling almost like this is impossible. This isn't a thing that happens to people. But it is. Like, it's like obviously a thing that happens to people. It happens to people all the time. It's just like it doesn't get discussed enough. And to some extent, I think that we still have almost like collective trauma from, and obviously cancers are still very dangerous diseases, but like it's a lot different than it used to be.
Mhm.
And like chemotherapy is a lot different than it used to be. And like is obviously awful, but like symptoms are more easily controlled now. Like people have very different experiences, so you don't know what you're going to get. We don't have these conversations enough. We don't like it. Just like I had people immediately the moment I had cancer, like think, oh, he's like that's a death sentence.
Yeah.
And it's 2024, like that, like sometimes, but not all the time. And like also a death sentence 5 years from now that's a lot of life.
I think it's really important what you're doing because cancer is something that's so taboo that the information is not being absorbed. It is sure maybe it's like out there in some sense, but people aren't receiving it. So
very similar, I would say, to how we treated the AIDS epidemic. And how we still sort of do. We don't gain anything by not talking about it. Like this, my brain broke seeing this. It's a photo of female anatomy and how the diagrams that we are shown that show female reproductive parts are not actually how they sit in your body. Women have balls, guys. Women have balls. Why though? It's for better labeling. Can you believe this? How abysmal is the state of sex ed that I'm 21 and seeing this for the first time? 300,000 likes. The Goon Cave is real. It's real. I don't like thinking about how dark it is inside me. I'm going to eat a flashlight. I'm going to eat some LED bulbs.
in this sense, you're finding a way to say, hey, you can recover from this.
This is a shocking stat that I found as I was doing research about this, is that the cancers that are most likely to result in suicide are the most curable cancers because they are cancers in young people, specifically young men. And young men don't necessarily have, like, they don't have the experience, or young people generally aren't like ready for like a big change in their life. They're like, that's not what I imagined my life was going to be like. I don't want that new life. And even though like there's a really high chance that in 6 months they're going to be back to normal, they can't imagine having to be the person who's suddenly dependent on a bunch of other people, or who has to have a testicle removed, or like all this stuff that just like all this baggage comes along with it. And they're like, that's not who I want to be. I don't want to be this person who's a weight on other people around me. I was so surprised. I would have assumed that, like, of course the cancers that are most likely to be to result in suicide are going to be the ones that are most devastating and most likely to kill you, but like it's not the case.
It's the young people who never saw their life going that way. There's a point in your show where you talk about how you wish that you could almost split into two and have one part of you go through all the chemo, go through all the growth, go through everything that would result in
Yeah.
basically who
Yeah.
you are today.
Uh-huh.
And the other part would just get to go to sleep and wake up and then merge or kill that other version
Yeah.
of you.
And be like, I don't need him. I don't want
Yeah,
any of
yeah.
that. It's great. I'm gonna learn so much about myself. It's gonna be great to do cancer. No, I don't. I
Yeah.
absolutely.
On the topic of women, because fuck men, I'm a misandrist, okay? I don't give a fuck about no testicular cancer unless those testicles are attached to a woman. All right? Let's be real for two. Just kidding. I have also heard this from women who have dealt with like cervical cancer or women who've had to have they've had to have some type of surgery that has removed their ability to give birth or to be able to become pregnant, either because of like endometriosis, I think is what I'm thinking of, or PCOS, or other types of cancers, or hysterectomies, or their fallopian tubes bursting because of an ectopic pregnancy. Like lots of things can happen that can cause you to lose the ability to become pregnant. And for me, I'm like, hell yeah, fuck them kids. But that's not everyone's experience. That's not what everyone else thinks. Like there are people that want to have kids and they want to have their own kids. And they've described it as being like a very traumatic experience because this thing that they wanted, that they were promised, has been taken away from them. And they don't want to be that person. They don't want to be someone that can't give birth. And that's really sad.
Absolutely. I would murder that. I would just let him do it and murder him.
And then you
take
would
back
be-
my normal, happy life where I'm not scared all the time about my health.
You mentioned that going through this was just such a reminder of your mortality.
Sure.
Do you think that's one of the bigger shifts?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like, I certainly knew that I was going to die someday. Like, I always knew that. But what I didn't know is how I would respond when that was like a more present feeling. That like the things I was like, what I actually was worried about, I was surprised.
I don't mean to be toxic positive, but my realization on this made me such a happy person because it made me realize I need to enjoy every moment. And every moment I spend being unhappy and every moment I spend focusing on negative stuff is moments that are being wasted, moments that I could be enjoying, life that I could be enjoying. And it has made my life so much better. So much better. And it's made me take things a lot less seriously. I feel like I get to enjoy things more because I just don't have to care about it, you know? I get to just have fun. And you decided to cover politics? Sir, ma'am, Envy, Trump is this close to winning the Republican nomination? Yes, I do think politics is funny. Uh-huh. American politics is a joke. Daddy's Vito, thank you for the 2 months. My adoptive mother is so mentally and emotionally traumatized to this day over all the baggage that comes with infertility. Yeah, and it's like, for people that don't care about fertility, hilarious even, ha 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 ha. Tofu goes, thank you for the 20 months. But like for me, someone who doesn't really care about fertility, like I don't want kids. I definitely don't want my own kids. That sounds terrible to me. That sounds, I would hate to have to live like that. If I was ever going to raise a child, it would be an adopted child. I just don't take any pleasure in the thought of being pregnant. I don't take any pleasure in the thought of giving birth. I don't take any pleasure in the thought of having to change diapers and deal with screaming babies for years, for at least 2 years, 3, more like. No. Uh-uh. Hire a nanny. Yeah, right after I just fined $1 billion. I'm good on all that. Exactly. I just that for me sounds like a nightmare. But I know women who that is their dream. They want to have a family and they really, really, really want to experience all of that. And they feel like they would enjoy it. Who am I to deny them their pleasures? And I imagine if that was taken away from you, something you really wanted, and there was no way to get it back, you would forever be sad about that thing. Maybe you adopt kids instead and you still love them all the same, but it still made you sad because my wife's cousin miscarried 5 times now, and last week she had an ectopic pregnancy, which resulted in her having emergency surgery, losing one of her fallopian tubes. According to her doctor, she waited another day to come in. She would have died. Scary stuff. Yeah. It's one man's trash is another man's treasure. You might regret it when you're 55, just saying, but ultimately it's your choice. You know what I won't regret, though? You know what I won't regret? Banning your dumb ass.
Actually, when you're 55, you're gonna regret not having babies. Did you consider that?
Bro, I'm 40. I don't regret it. Oh my God. The thing is, someone else described it this way, and ever since then, I have not been able to see it the same way. I am fulfilled with and without kids. I don't need, like, in my life plan, I don't feel that is something that will ever be important to me. I feel fulfilled. I have things that fulfill me outside of that. And I have a lot of things that fulfill me. Did you just say you're 40? What did I say? I'm not 40. I don't remember what I said. Yo, 40 looking like this? Oh, I was reading a chat message. Sorry. I was reading a chat message. Where did it? Can you imagine? Yo, drop your skincare routine. You're 40? Damn. Yeah, no, it was Chatter Amanda. I was reading out a chat message. Keck W, bro, I am 40 and I don't regret it. I don't like the idea of passing on my genetics. I don't want to pass on my genetics. I do not want to give somebody else this much mental illness. I'm good. No. I'm good. I also saw what life was like for women who gave up their dreams to have kids. And I saw how depressed they were. And I would rather have regrets about not having kids, which I don't think I'm going to, because I've had this opinion for over a decade or longer. And I would rather deal with that than deal with knowing that I have to live with constant reminders, my kids, of what was taken away from me, what passions were taken away from me. I also know that I don't take any personal pleasure or an idea of, I don't take any pleasure in knowing that they're my kids. It seems so irrelevant. Studies also show that couples become less happy with kids. Yeah. That's such a dark way to look at children. What the fuck? Okay. Is it guaranteed you'll pass on mental illness? Otherwise, it sounds like dumb shit of smart people should be having more babies. Shit Elon does. No, I mean, that's my personal opinion. I'm not telling other people how to live their lives. Right. I just could not deal. I mean, this is like the natalist argument, the anti-natalist argument that kids do not, you as a person cannot consent to being created. Now, I'm not going to argue antinatalism in here. Seems a little fashy. Brother, me saying I would have to live with guilt for the rest of my life knowing I created a human being with mental illness is not eugenics. Eugenics would be me saying, if you have mental illness, don't have kids. Incredible stuff happening here. Incredible stuff. Not every single woman needs children just because she can have them. It's a ridiculous notion. I wish people would stop doing that. I never wanted kids, and then suddenly in my 30s, I realized I did. My life changed in the most amazing ways since having a daughter, but that's my story. It's not for everyone. That's great. Yeah. More importantly, I can see the enjoyment and the pleasure that I would receive raising a kid. I have never been able to, and I don't think I ever will, consider anything about having my own kids as pleasurable. It's just not something that I think would bring me joy. It's not, I just, I don't know. I respect that a lot. As I grew to like myself more, I want to have a kid that shares genes, if you get me. Not saying you don't like yourself. I think the morally better thing is adopting anyways. It does not spark joy, as Marie Kondo says. Yeah. 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 Oh, gosh. I just don't want to be one of those parents that resents their children for stealing away their youth. And I never want to be in the situation where I have a kid with someone else, and then I suddenly have to start dealing with weaponized incompetence. I don't think I could. I don't think I could. I think it would kill me. Also, living is hard. I wouldn't want to make someone else do that, if that makes sense. That's just like, that's what antinatalists say. That's how they argue their point. I understand the arguments. I feel weird committing to them. If that makes sense. Anti-analists. Stop. I corrected myself. Ultra analysis. God bless that clip. The infinite joy off that clip. Infinite joy. I'm personally anti-natalist, but I think it's fine if other people want to do that. I think that's sort of where I am as well. I think the guilt that I would have to carry that comes with having my own kids with my genetics is just too much for me. I wouldn't be able to handle it. I think I would collapse under the pressure. It's just antinatalism is fascist as hell. Keep that decision to yourself. Isn't that literally what was just said? I can give you other things to repeat if you'd like. The sky is blue. You can write that in chat also. Grass is green. You can write that also. Anything else? Literally, do whatever you want in life. It's fucked up, right? Because one concept that I get frustrated about is, as someone, the problem is getting flack for pointing out how irresponsible bringing a child into the current climate is. I get called a doomer. I want to talk about something that's sort of like tangential. The problem is, as someone who was raised very poor and grew up very poor, life fucking sucks when you're poor. It sucks. There were so many things that I have had to deal with that I did not want to have to deal with. And I do think that it can be irresponsible to be poor and to have kids. However, you can never, ever, ever, ever tell other people not to have kids for any reason. You just can't. And you're not allowed to legislate it. I think the second you start legislating who is and who is not allowed to have kids, you've immediately fucked up. So instead, I subscribe to policies that help everybody escape from poverty. Instead of me focusing, because I get really frustrated thinking about kids that are dealing with poverty and that they have no control over their situation. And it makes me so sad. But I'm not going to start subscribing to fucking some insane fascistic garbage. Instead, why don't we try improving, our education systems? Why don't we try improving like economic mobility? Why don't we try improving healthcare? Try improving food security? Like, why don't we try fixing these things that are stopping poor people from escaping poverty? Let's do this. Can we just try doing this first before we get into fucking eugenics? Please? Because you just immediately lose once you talk about banning some people from having kids. You've fucked up. You can never pass legislation like that. The government just can't have that much power. I also think that shaming those people feels fucking weird. Tofu, thank you for the gift sub. Nice of you. Buffering, thank you for the 2 months. They're not. Thank you for the gift sub. Also, Dragon Army, thank you for the gift sub. Thank you guys. Thank you, Neko. Thank you for the nice messages. The 15 months. Bisexual, thank you. Thank you for the gift sub. Thank you. So, yeah. But can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars? I could really use a wish right now. Why was that funny? I have mental health issues and I still feel like I still want kids because I want to contribute to the next generation. I feel like my issues can help me mold me into the person I am today. I feel like whenever I'm in a good financial position, I can provide a good space to help that kid through whatever issue may arise, but that's just me. Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. For me, it's just, I think the guilt I would carry bringing a kid into the world and having anything fuck up is just too much. You guys know Darkest Dungeon, when people experience too much stress and then they break? That's what I feel like would happen to me. But adopting, it's like, shit, man, somebody already had that kid. Like, honestly, as long as I am trying, I'm making that kid's life better. As long as I'm even trying, just trying to make that kid's life good, I'm doing enough. Myriad, thank you for the gift sub. Thank you. Echo Waves, thank you for the tier 1. Gift Smooth, thank you for the gift sub as well. See, thank you for the gift subs. Guys, thank you. Thank you. I grew up poor and I swore I would never have a kid unless I had the money. That's basically the primary one for me as well. That's the primary one for me as well. I would feel I would feel so bad not being able to give this thing that I created a happy, fulfilling life. Not to say that you can't do that when you're poor. That's not to say that at all. It just makes it a lot harder.
DNML has LDSAL per barber 3 gold Quan love.
Sai, thank you. Aw, thank you for the sub. Coco, thank you for the gift sub. Cow, thank you for the prime. Thank you, guys. Kurt, thank you for the gift sub. Why are you guys gifting? It's very nice of you. Thank you all. But also, guys, I think if you have kids, the government should financially compensate you. You should be getting like sort of care packages because the government wants you to have kids. In fact, the government needs you to have kids so that you can contribute to the next workforce. Echo Waves, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Thank you. And I think the best way to stop the problem of kids having to grow up in very poor households, because I think that is a travesty that happens. Vorlo, thank you for the prime. Sorry, thank you for the gifts. Maria, thank you for the 20 promise. Thank you. Stop. The government should be encouraging that behavior because they want you to have kids, because they want a good labor force for the next generation. And they should be compensating you. You should get all of your necessities. You should be getting, at the very least for the first year, anything related to child care should basically be provided. Like diapers, food, formula, if you are someone who needs formula. Maybe you can't produce milk. Maybe it's too inconvenient for whatever reason. It's your choice to make. Their schooling should be free. Kids' food should be free. Like school lunches, they should be free. There's no reason any kid should be going hungry because their parents are poor. It's just not fair. Especially for a government that is forcing women to have kids by making abortion illegal. Dragon Llama, thank you for the gift. So thank you. Absolutely, it's a personal decision. I grew up that way. Makes me want that. But it's totally individual. You're spitting facts. Yeah, and I just wish anyone could have kids if they wanted to have kids and know that their kids would financially be okay. That's what I want. I hated the debate where Shapiro kept saying no to feeding kids in school because rather we should make parents that didn't have kids before marriage instead. Yeah, oh God, that was so stupid. Ben is just. He also said there's no such thing as having sex and not having any emotional attachment. Ben is a goddamn idiot. Okay. At Women in Chat, if you cannot lactate, I will take hormones as a man to induce lactation in your stead. Do not worry, my queens. I will grow my big mommy milkers. At Denims, check my last chat message. It's important for feminism if you want. Ace, thank you for the tier 1. Ace, thank you for the tier 1. Men can lactate, just so you know. Just so you know. Hope you're well. I want to check if you saw my message. I had to postpone. Yes, I did. Sorry, I didn't respond. Yes, I did. No problem. Honestly, my February mostly freed up because I ended up not going to Texas, so I've been able to catch up on a lot of other things. I just have like 2 or 3 days in my February that are busy. So, but actually, yeah, no. Did you know that? Did you know that technically men can lactate? Because it's from my understanding, it's actually harder. But you can induce lactation because technically all the glands are still there. All of the tools you need are still there. It's just that the hormones aren't there. So you can actually induce it via hormones. Not to say that that should be a thing that happens, more just so like, isn't that an interesting fact? Isn't that a cool fact? Insane power cut, so I need to get power source set up and then I'll let you know. Sounds good. It's kind of neat. Yeah, yeah. As long as you have your like breast tissue and your nipples and your like lymph nodes or whatever, as long as you still have all the same stuff, you have never gotten anything touched or you're not missing anything for any reason, you're still a mammal, bro. You still got titties, bro. You just need a little bit of hormones and we can get some milk out of them titties. Them yitties, if you will. All aboard the toxic Kappa train. Growing up poor in an abusive household has made me go, maybe I don't want to bring a kid in who might experience that again. Yeah. But yeah, I think that I don't think there's anything wrong with deciding if you want to have a kid or not in your life for any reason. I think maybe you shouldn't be saying that certain people shouldn't be having kids. I think on the other hand, not on the other hand, but additionally, that is different from you have a friend in your life or a family member in your life that is considering having kids at a time in their life where they should not be having kids. And you telling them, I feel like maybe you should do this, or maybe you should do this, or maybe you should do this first before you do that. Tax evasion count, thank you for the gift sub. Thank you. Like, I think if you know a couple and they're saying, well, we're going to fix our marriage by having a kid, I do not think it's eugenics to talk to them and be like, I feel like you should go to therapy. And if you guys want to have a kid after that, you can do that. But please don't. It's not going to fix your relationship. It's not going to do that. It's going to make it worse, actually. It's going to make it worse. Reminds me of the Valkyrie discourse. Yeah, Ray and her mother had talked about adopting. Her mom couldn't afford it on her own, but Ray wanted to primarily financially support them. Best of both worlds. Yeah. I can't believe people got mad at that. That Valkyrie had tweeted out.
I didn't want kids, but after talking with Denims today, I think there's a chance.
Oh, gosh. Remy, thank you so much for the tier 1. IML, thank you so much for the 2 months of Prime. My parents tried to fix their marriage with 2 kids. It definitely got worse before they split up. Yes. Yeah. Obviously, very big difference between someone in your life that you want to help and you're saying, I just don't know if having a kid right now is the right solution to your problem versus, you are just not someone that should be having kids. Very, very, very big difference. Very big difference between those things. I'm so glad my parents deeply loved each other. It made me very comfy at home. Oh, I'm happy for you. Me talking to my girlfriend. Sorry, babe, I can't do the dishes tonight. I have performative incompetence. Illumin? Thank you for the 5 gift subs. Thank you. That's very nice of you. If you have a large farm and you're short on labor, then definitely have kids. It only takes them about 10 years to get to an age where they can till some soil and haul bales of hay so you can put them to work fast. I mean, I can't argue with that. I cannot argue with that. I can't argue with that. I mean, when you're right, you're right. Shit. Someone said to lower the bits to 100 biddies so that they can get the golden kappa. I want you to know I lowered it. TTS is still 500 bits, just so you guys know. I'll probably put it somewhere in my bio or something. TTS is still 500 bits, but in case anyone, like that one person who said, I did lower it for you. The train ended? You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to whoever asked. I failed you. I'm a horrible person. You didn't deserve that. I'm sorry. I tried. I just got sunlocked. Please forgive me. Please. Golden Capuchine is actually worse because you don't get a permanent emote with it. It only works for 24 hours. What? Unbelievable. There was something else I was going to talk about on like the having kids discourse, and then I forgot because I'm page, but TLDR. We should make it so that if people want to have kids, they don't have to worry as much about the finances regarding kids. They shouldn't have to worry about healthcare for their kids or food for their kids or basic necessities for their kids, regardless of your income class. Especially if you are someone who proposes banning abortion. It's not acceptable. Oh, the Ray discourse. Thank you. Yeah, I can't believe it. I don't know how many people remember, but Valkyrie got some like flack for the most bullshit I've ever seen on the internet. She was tweeting about how now that she's at a point financially where she feels really comfortable, she wanted to look into adopting because her mother has obviously a lot of free time and wants to raise kids and wants to adopt, but financially they weren't at a good point in their life to do that. And so Valkyrie was saying, I'm now at a point financially where I feel like I can financially cover for a kid and adopt a kid and help someone who's sitting in the foster system right now. And my mother would be there to emotionally support the kid and be there whenever they needed them emotionally. And I just wanted to ask, does anyone have any advice? Any kids that were adopted or anyone who's adopted kids? Do you have any advice or any help that you could provide me? And people got mad at her. And they're like, it feels like you're doing this to clout chase. It feels like you're doing this for the attention. And you're just trying to show off, look, I'm such a good person. I want to adopt. And you're kind of treating the kids like pets. I could beat the shit out of these people, man. I would. Let me at them. Let me fucking at them. I'm going to say something controversial. I think the woman who raised Valkyrie did a pretty fucking good job considering how nice Valkyrie is. In fact, I will go further and say a foster kid that got to escape the foster system and be raised by that same woman would be very lucky. I know. A crazy hot take. I know. And the kid would be financially provided for, completely, entirely. She was saying basically that she wanted to adopt a sister. Yeah. But it was a conversation, like, it was something that her and her mother had talked about for a very long time. Like, I wonder how much clout my parents got when they had me. I just wish Valkyrie would adopt me, dude. Please, I need a home. Please. I can pretend to be a baby. Oh, God. Anywho, yeah. I can't believe that. I just... A funny bit that Seer could do, because he was adopted, he could say, Chad, I really want to put a kid in the foster system. Second, thank you for the prime. It's the same energy when people shit on Hassan for raising money for clout. It's idiotic. Maybe these people shouldn't. Yeah. It's stupid. You really think that the Palestinians that are getting aid from Hassan's charity streams are thinking, I'm loving the fact that I'm getting medical supplies, but I just hate that some Turkish guy in America is getting clout off of it. Can we be fucking realistic for 2 seconds? Are you serious? Send it back. I don't take anything from fake socialists. Huh? Thanks for the millions of dollars, but how much canvassing have you done? Oh my God, dude. Calm down. Even if people are doing good things for clout, who cares? They're still doing good things. Yeah, that's the thing that I don't understand either. At the end of the day, he's still raising a lot of money for people who really need it. It's very strange how people criticize this stuff from a moral virtue standpoint, like with no concern for the people who might be helped. Yeah. But that's why my criticism of Mr. Beast is never that, like, I just don't like that he profits off of this. I don't give a fuck about that. Whatever. He wants to make money off of it. Great. I don't care. I just don't like that he pretends like these issues can be solved with philanthropy. And I wish that he would, and I get it. He's never going to, because that's not why he does that content. I just wish he would use this platform to show people and to push people to ask for real political change and say, I shouldn't have to do this. I shouldn't have to cure these people's blindness. People should be able to go to their government, and get the insurance or whatever to do that. And I wish he would just stress that stuff more on like all the fronts that he can. I also don't know how to feel about the thumbnails that he makes. Yeah, they seem a little poverty porn. Yeah. I don't know. That I'm like, But hey, he's still helping people, and I still appreciate that he's helping people. Even if I maybe wouldn't jive with him as a person. Firepuff, aw. Oh, thank you for the 2 months. I learned a lot from you. Used clips from your stream for a Palestine Melee tournament trailer. Thank you for what you do. That's so nice of you. What? Thank you. If Coca-Cola Company gave 10,000 liters of water bottles in a refugee camp, it's going to be cynically promoted. It's also going to give 10,000 liters of clean water in a refugee camp. Yep. Mm-hmm. Honestly, kind of cringe take. If it wasn't for him, who would teach Gen Alpha and baby Zoomers about maximizing shareholder profits? You're so right. I'm glad. I'm glad he's doing that service for us. I'm glad. He's very performative in the truest sense. Of course. I think he just like rubs people the wrong way, but I don't think he should stop doing what he's doing. I don't think he should stop, and I don't want him to stop. I think it just puts a bad taste in people's mouth because they know that he's doing it for his personal profit. Although I will say I do not respect those chocolate bars or those Mr. Beast burgers. I am a true hater of his products. I haven't had either, but I don't care. I'm going to be a hater of those things. I am allowed to be a hater of those things. Oh, thank you, Connor. Naomi. You sound like the Pokimane cookie haters right now. See, the difference is I'm hating a man, so it's okay. Come on, use your brain, Chatter. I bet that guy's a man, too. I bet that Chatter's a man. I got one of the chocolate bars for free. It was pretty decent. Mr. Beast, why are you making sock puppets on Twitch to promote your bars? Don't you have something better to be doing? Why are you here? And if it's not Mr. Beast, how much is he paying you to do? I'm sure their chocolate bars taste about the same as Hershey's, which is mediocre. And I'm sure the burgers taste about as much as like competitors, which is, again, mediocre. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to yawn. Okay. I kind of wanted to go to the anxiety part because I feel like that's something all of us can relate to. So I'm going to just skip ahead a little in the interview. If that's cool with y'all. Moldy bread. Jesus, quarantine.
Brought up how you'll get through it. You'll likely get through it. At least, in your case, you'll likely get through it, and life will be different. You can't say if it's worse or better. Life will be different.
It's different. Yeah.
It's different. And there's that when you're doing something that matters a lot to you, there's this anxiety, there's this nervousness, there's this worry that's attached to it. But with a lot of these things, if it's something fun like stand up, you can experience all those things and it ends up being okay. But there's signals for you to practice, to beware, to pay attention. And a lot can be said about pain and all that as well. But it almost feels like that is a one-to-one metaphor for life in many ways. There are things that you care a lot about, in your situation. Obviously you care about being healthy. Yeah. And you're worried the whole time. It ends up, in your case, being okay. If we could skip the step of worrying and find a way to be confident in the outcome.
Well, I mean, I've had therapy now, which I had never done before.
You had
Uh,
never done therapy before.
No, and
Whoa.
so you probably will be familiar with some things I wasn't familiar with, but
Sure.
just the idea that the anxiety is trying to tell you something. You
Mhm.
know, it's speaking to something, and you can't be like, "Shh, go away. I don't want you,"
Right.
which is mostly my strategy.
Right. And you know, it's not this that you're doing, it's this that you're doing.
Yeah,
it's still in there.
I'm not getting rid of it.
It's there.
It's somewhere.
Yeah.
And instead being like, "What are you worried about?" And it being like, "This," and I'm like, "That's important. You're right. That's an
Mhm.
important thing." And even if you can't do anything about it, just being like, "Yes," like there's a like, but weirdly sometimes
Unless it's not, in which case the opposite is also true. You think about the thing that's causing you anxiety and realize it's the stupidest reason you could ever come up with. And then you say, I'm not going to be anxious about this. It's like, I don't want to call this person on the phone. Oh, I really don't want to call them. It's like, this is a dumb reason. This is dumb. This is so dumb. That nothing is going to happen. I should just call. I should just call.
it's not important. I've had that where it's like, and I'm like, "What are you?" And it's like this, and I'm like, "That's not a thing. That's fake. You made that up." And it's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
But that's my former life. Now it's like, secondary cancers relapse, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's real concerns. We have to be worried about that, and like, we can't be focused on that all the time.
It's interesting that you bring that up. It's like, this is a
I think this is also one of the most important things to tell people that are this close to becoming incels. Just, yeah, I think companionship is important. And I think being concerned about like being single forever, like I think that is a valid concern. People are naturally, we're social creatures. We want to have other people in our life. So I think it is scary to think about not being able to have that. But at the end of the day, you have to recognize, sure, this might be a valid concern, but I'm not benefiting from sitting here thinking about it. People have different timetables, people have different schedules. Sure, I'm single right now. I've been single for a while. Why am I going to waste my time and energy worrying about this when I could be enjoying life? You have to like trust that it'll work out. And you have to trust that just because that's the case now and it has been for a while doesn't mean it's going to be forever. I should enjoy my life and it'll come when it comes. And maybe for some people it's sooner and maybe for other people it's later, and that's just how it is. But being stressed about it and being angry about it isn't going to help you. It's not going to make you a better person. It's not going to make you more happy. Connor, thank you for the prime. And every day, just like incremental progress on like the things you want to do. Because you getting anxious about it and you being like, it's never going to happen to me, blah, blah, it's just going to make you more bitter and more bitter and bitter and bitter to the point where it actually is not going to happen. You are not going to find someone else who wants to be around you when you are that level of bitter. Because nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to spend time with someone who's that bitter. But as long as you focus on just like not engaging with those type of thoughts, things will work out. There's 8 billion people on the planet. I promise there's someone that will like you. Oh, thank you, Overlord. Guys, there are people who think my jokes are funny. I promise there's someone that's going to like you or has already liked you. I promise. Who? Excuse you. See, chat, that is a bitter person who's going to be alone forever. Okay, you see that? you see that? Consider that a curse. Consider that a hex, motherfucker. Of course, chat thinks your jokes are funny. They were chat's jokes first. I'm this close. anyways, back to the video.
You worry, it's there. And you mentioned this in your stand-up. You can't control your thoughts.
You can't control
And,
your thoughts.
The thoughts just happen. You get to control how you react to it. You get to decide how you react to it.
Yeah. It's really a stand-up special about how consciousness is an illusion and so is the self.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't need to tell
That's the
people
good
that.
tagline.
We don't
No,
need to-
I would watch it because of that, honestly. I'm into that tagline.
Yeah.
You started on YouTube as an educator.
No.
No? What did you start as?
It's just
That's what people
just
see
a
you as.
vlogger,
Just
man.
a vlogger? Just a vlogger. No education there whatsoever. Just talking, just mouth moving, and
Yeah.
God knows what else.
No, I mean, I guess what we started as, and so we were super inspired by Zay Frank
Mhm.
and his 2006 The Show. And what was interesting there is like he was like, I'm gonna make stuff every day, and like everything I do is gonna be informed by the feedback that I get. And because that cycle is so fast, it's like video, comments, video, comments, video,
That's
comments.
the first time.
It's so cool.
It seems like such a normal concept now.
Yeah.
And that is also what drove Ian and I in our early stages to do our
Yeah.
sketches, where there's that feedback comment loop.
Mhm.
And it seems so normal now, but that was one of the biggest things that drew me to the platform.
Yeah.
Instant feedback. You
Mhm.
go and make something else, you've learned something.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't get that privilege with other forms of media that existed at the time.
Yeah, and it also means that like you see them as a part of the creation. We're like, that's the thing that's super sparkly for us is like, what are we doing with these people, not what are we doing for these people? And so like the first year we made a video every weekday. We'd trade off days.
Mhm.
So like some days it'd be 3 a week, some days it'd be 2. And it was like that, like having to make that much content meant that we were not educators, but we made some educational videos. It meant we weren't like, I wasn't a musician, but I was doing some songs. One of John's first videos, he did like sort of a explainer, and he
I'm so sorry. I'm a terrible person. Every time I think about John Green, I just think about that one Tumblr copy pasta that made it so that you couldn't edit posts anymore. Ones, if you know what I'm talking about. I've talked about it once before on stream. Twos, if you don't know what I'm talking about. Does it come up in this interview? No. No way. I have to see. I don't see it in here. It was on the yard. Can someone send me a timestamp to it? Do I want to? Oh, yes, you do. The very short version of that story is that it used to be the case that on Tumblr, you would make a text post, and if someone wanted to repost it, sort of the equivalent of like quote tweeting on Twitter, they were allowed to edit your text. But nobody ever used that feature. People just kind of didn't do it. And John Green was very active for some reason on Tumblr. And he sends out like this like paragraph on one of his posts, and it's like, you know, the thing that I love the most. And somebody edited it to talk about how much he loves cock. And after that, Tumblr was like, okay, guys, we fixed it. You're not allowed to edit other people's posts. No, you're not allowed to. Nope. I assume it's not that they made it so that you can edit, but that they never made it. Thank you guys for the link. It's so that they made it that, excuse me, sorry. They just never introduced the feature of you can't edit. Let me see if I can find like a good image for anyone who's never been on the website so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. Because replies on that website, in my opinion, it was a better system than the reply system we have on Twitter. Like, here we go. Basically, posts used to look like this. So someone would make a post and they would say this. And if you wanted to quote tweet it, you would add text. And then if someone else wanted to quote tweet your quote tweet, They would add more text. And in my opinion, better than the current quote tweet system that we have now. Obviously, though, this system was very exploitable because you still had access to everyone else's text. They since changed it so that now if you are, I don't even know if it's still considered quote tweeting or replying or what. Now the posts look like this, which I think it's sort of a step down. The problem, however, with this was that if it was like 10 in a row, it was formatted like shit. It used to be it was used to make comedic posts, but if you clicked on the original poster, it would show their original message. They changed it because of bullying. Yeah, the TLDR was that no one in the community, no one on Tumblr ever thought that it was actually the real message. Because if you were ever unsure, you would just click. You see how here it says Swords? You would click on this because it's a hyperlink and it would take you to the original post. So everyone knew that that was not the original post and everyone went and clicked on it and they were like, this is fucking hilarious. This is hilarious. Let me see how well he covers it.
A sensitive question.
Uh-huh.
Can we get sensitive?
We won't laugh. Why are you looking down all sad?
Yeah, you don't. I think you're gonna not.
Don't laugh.
Okay.
What, Aiden? What?
I'm laughing at something. It's like it's funny back. I had a puppet animal.
I didn't know about you or your brother for a long time until I was on Tumblr.
Oh no! Oh, this is gonna. I'm excited.
And there was a post that your brother made on his Tumblr account, which got changed and actually changed the rules of the website because of it.
We could talk about this for at least an hour if you want, but let's go.
We don't need to, but I will say I was on Tumblr so much that I ended up memorizing that just from seeing it so much. So what they did for context,
like the whole paragraph.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Not just the first line, which is also in there.
The second line is probably the funniest one, which is balls smell amazing.
Yeah.
But basically,
can you recite a little bit of it for us?
Cock is one of my favorite tastes. Not only that, but balls smell amazing.
Oh, I didn't get that far.
So let me see. I don't know if are they gonna show the whole one?
So the cock part, you're like, okay, he's got something.
He made a post, and then you could reblog on Tumblr, and someone changed it to this copy pasta about really just loving like cum in your mouth or something. And it was very crass. And John Green got like clowned for it, like incessantly. And that's all I knew.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the guy that happened to.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Like that's 100% of the John Green facts, you know?
Yes. And then later on, I learned he wrote books, and I was like, okay. And I was like,
yeah, well, like a really famous book.
And I was like, those books probably suck. Like everything was colored from that experience.
What's crazy? That book, Fault in Our Stars, starts with the same paragraph.
So I mean, you're not him, but like. What's that like from your perspective?
Not only that, but balls smell amazing. It makes me go a little crazy on Like, I cannot get it far enough down my throat to be satisfied. I'm only satisfied when I feel those intense, powerful, salty, hot pumps have come down my throat. When I sit back on my heels, look up at you with cum all over my mouth and slobber running down my neck, hair all.
No, stop. There's a text limit. Hair all fucked up and wipe my mouth with the back of my arm and ask you if I did a good job. And you cannot even speak because I've drained you of all of your energy out of the tip of your dick. That's when I'm satisfied. That is what they did to this poor man. They changed his post to write this. Not only that. That is what they did. That is what they did. Can you believe they violated this man this way? But everybody loved him on the website. No, like nobody hated this guy. Maybe some people thought maybe his book wasn't good, or some people thought his book was pretentious or something. But nobody disliked him. In fact, I think this made people like him more. What was the original post about? I don't even remember. I don't know if anyone remembers. Let's see if they talk about it.
Like, so first of all, the mythology is that because this happened, Tumblr changed the website,
Yes.
which is not true.
Okay.
Like obviously that's a flaw. If you can make it look like somebody said something else.
Yes.
So they were working on a product to fix that thing already when this happened because it was happening more and more.
Okay.
Oh.
It's also happening on Twitter with the old quote retweets.
Oh,
you
yeah.
saw.
Oh, right.
Old quote
You
retweets.
can just change it?
It would literally just fucking copy and paste their
Yeah.
text.
Oh yeah.
And then you
Forgot
just
about
write
that.
whatever else.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that people like there were people who were really mad at John for being upset about it and like writing to the guy who ran Tumblr and changing the website and making it not fun anymore. And
What? No. I mean, like, I'm allowed to mourn those days, but at the end of the day, it's probably good to. That was an important change to make. It's sad that it's gone, but it was an important change that needed to be made.
I didn't like. I'm like, don't be mad at a guy for doing a thing that didn't literally happen.
So
Like,
then
we're
none
just
of that
making a
happened, and he was
conspiracy
catching
theory.
shit for it.
So he got shit for that. But it was really weird because it became such a thing. And so here's how I like to think about it. When I was in high school, I hated Dave Matthews Band. But not because I didn't like their music, because the people who hated me loved Dave Matthews Band.
Okay.
And so like me and my friends, because we were little outcasts.
What'd you like, KMFDM?
I didn't hate KMFDM.
Beast.
We listened to like punk and ska and like girl rock and
Okay, like garbage and shit. The
was-
band garbage.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
No, that almost sounded mean. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
And we would say some shit about Dave Matthews, right? But we didn't have any way to say some shit about Dave Matthews in a way Dave Matthews would ever see it. And then to be Dave Matthews in this situation where like you have a relationship with the platform and you like are doing a thing and then people are like, I want to kind of define myself in opposition to like this cultural institution, which is a man. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable even hearing that like that your thought was, oh, the cock is my favorite taste guy. He must rate bad books.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's the consequence of this access.
Yeah. Yeah. It's super weird. And it's like, but like also I see it as like a, on the scale of the problems of the internet, a fairly minor inconvenience.
Sure.
Isn't it so weird that like 2007 and we're like goof around on YouTube, and then like 2008 it's like, oh, everybody's having so much fun. 2010 it's like it's the goof times. 2014 goof. 2024 it's like the world might end because of this thing.
Yeah. You see the first like realistic Joe Biden AI video, and you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah, it's like YouTube was like,
All right, that was it. I wish I could find the original of like whatever the fuck the original post said, but I genuinely don't even know what it said. Like I literally I don't even know. And it seemingly is impossible to even find the original post. Ah, the good old days. Oh, the good old days. Sorry, I'm like reliving my dreams. Are we sure this wasn't the original? It was not, I promise. All right. Let's watch a little bit more.
he was talking about like the current situation, like political situation in Nepal, while eating toilet paper. And I'm like, because we were like, I don't know what YouTube videos are.
Like no one's gonna watch a video about Nepal. You got to do something interesting. Let's see. Let's go to the My Strange Addiction page and see what people did there. Okay,
Yeah.
it was between that or eating Ajax. So I'm glad you chose it.
He ate
chose
5
both
sheets
it.
of toilet paper, and
Okay.
he sort of like went in on what's up in Nepal at the same time.
the same video?
We just want views, man.
Anything for views has always been a concept, I guess.
Yeah, we just did whatever was interesting, and when you have to make that many pieces of content,
You end up kind of finding it.
you
right?
find things. And one of the things that we found was the educational videos did well, but they were a lot of work.
But you slowly did evolve into doing more and more of that.
Yeah, so YouTube gave us some money.
Oh, is that
Do you
how
remember
you
the
started to
original
kind of-
programming grant thing that they did, YTOP? We got some money from that, and we were like, well, these videos do really well, but we can't do them with just one person because we're like, you work on it for a week, and if you're trying to do that 5 times a week, then you have to have 5 weeks to make 1 week of content, and it doesn't work. So we got money so we could hire people to help us do it, and that became SciShow and Crash Course. And then from there, all of our company that makes that is called Complexly, and Complexly makes a bunch of shows now.
So was Complexly founded because of that?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those funded projects ended up not going anywhere, but you.
Yeah, funny. Most of the ones that were done by YouTubers actually did end up becoming things.
It was the
that
other
were-
people that.
There were a lot of
yeah.
Hollywood production companies that got that money and were like, "Thank you for this money. The moment it runs out, we have other things that we'd like to do."
Yeah. It was a great program. It set up a lot of things, and I know Crash Course specifically it helped so many people. Like even here on this set, a lot of people here like I was there.
A lot of people work really hard to make those videos.
So that's where you really kind of honed in on education.
Yeah, it seemed like if there was a thing that we were gonna focus on, it seemed like one, we had the ability to, like we'd found that we were good at it, and the audiences liked it, which are both very important. And
Which this is, I think, what I've talked about, by the way, on like the Venn diagram of content. Not to be a Kamala Harris right now. She ruined Venn diagrams for me. I'm never allowed to say that I like Venn diagrams. Otherwise, I'm Kamala Harris. I'm one step away from her laugh, apparently. Is this the original post? This is actually it. As I near 200,000 followers, I just want to say thanks. You're the best. That's what they desecrated? No, it's not. It can't be this one. This one has an image. It has to be something else. Did you just fall out of a coconut tree? Stop. Stop it. Stop it. But this is what I talk about when I talk about the Venn diagram of content. You have to find something that you're good at that people want to watch. And there's going to be a lot of stuff that you're good at, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that people want. But most of that stuff is not going to overlap, and you have to find the 1 or 2 things that do overlap and do those things.
And 2, it was good. It was like a positive thing to put into the world.
It's kind of that Venn diagram. Like, I like to do it, audience enjoys it, and it is a.
He watches my content. I have used this analogy like 60 times by this point. He watched my content. He watched my content. I've described it as like the Goldilocks zone for content plenty times. I cannot even believe this.
Quality product.
Yeah, and it's not actively destructive to the world.
Right,
Which
yes.
some YouTubers are like,
We don't need that. That piece of the pie is just gone. 7 billion Orbeez dumped on this lawn. I don't know. What happens to it?
Nature will find a way to deal with the Orbeez.
Or, for example, all of the manosphere people. It's like, maybe you shouldn't do that type of content because it's bad and it makes the world a worse place. Oh, you don't care. Got it.
Yeah, it'll.
Mayor cat. What is it? Oh. Hi. Hi, Fuzzy Wormy. Hi. There's a cat outside.
Become part of the earth again in
Guys, it was so bright out there, it like flashbanged me.
7,000.
I don't think Orbeez are actually that bad for them.
Nah, that was just an example. But there's definitely there was definitely a phase.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of prank videos where I was like, oh man, I thought YouTube was good.
Yeah, the content that you guys were making and other YouTubers, I was like, oh, I get it. This is a place where people can learn, and it's interesting how the platform has shifted in a way where like my dad is like looking up how to do whatever around the house. And like people that I know who do not consume YouTube as entertainment utilize it as an education platform or for a how-to. And it seems like it's so integrated into every different type of person now. It's super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube loves to tout its stats on how many of the video views are educational in some way. And also, like, you can loop a lot into that, you know? Like, you can loop a makeup tutorial into that. And like, that's, you could look up learning.
All the people that I interviewed that became flat earthers because of YouTube.
Yeah, you're learning something.
I learned something. Changed my life.
A great deal of information.
Yes.
Regardless of quality, did enter me.
Right, and that's one of the things that you frequently go back to is fact check. That is almost part of the Hank Green brand.
Yeah, no, I've said some things that I'm going to fact check in this episode.
Already?
Before I...
Okay, are you going to walk off and come back?
Well, no, I'll make you edit it out if I said something wrong.
Okay, good. So all those weird times where there's hard cuts that don't make any sense, misinformation it's a plague. With every single thing that catches on, every single thing that has something that is so good about it, there is an equal bit of danger / negativity that comes with it.
Yeah, it really pushed me to like look back at previous like huge disruptions in communications technology specifically. So like we think of the most powerful technologies as being like weapons, you know, like nuclear bombs, tanks, even like swords or like mounted warriors, like so like all these things, big. But like by far the most disruptive technologies are in the way that we talk to each other. The thing that we're doing right now, like we vastly underestimate how weird it is. It's like I'm flapping my tongue and like noise is coming out of my mouth and like words, like thoughts are now in your head.
I do not like to think about, and it's just the vibrations in the air.
It's just vibrations in the air,
and they're tickling something in my brain.
Yeah, and as it gets in there,
and I'm converting it into information, and now it's a memory.
I agree with your vibrations.
Yeah, you know what? You got good.
Sorry, guys. I started getting really invested on staring at my monitor because of this. What the? What the? How does she do it so well? How? She can line it up so much better. She lines it up like exactly. That's crazy. All right, back to video.
Vibes. I agree with those vibes.
I think those vibrations are right.
I feel your vibes right now. Yeah. They interact well with
I guess it is just, it's all vibes. As the kids have been saying, it's all vibes.
It's all vibes.
They were right the whole time.
I don't think kids say that anymore, though.
But those kids.
Those
kids that did say that.
There are kids that have
They
said
were
that.
right.
Yes. The vibes kids. Yeah.
The thing that like makes me terrified and gives me hope in this situation is that like now we're in the situation where like power dynamics are sort of struggling to figure out what to do with the new communications technology. And
sorry to anyone whose hand I destroyed making them do that. Sorry about that. My bad. You're not sorry? And what? So what? What of it if I'm not sorry?